Remember to like and subscribe. My chocolate lab, Bear, passed away. He was nearly 15 and lived a good long life. After he passed, I had him cremated and then opted to have a memorial tattoo done. They took a small amount of his ashes and mixed it with tattoo ink, and I got a tattoo of a grizzly bear on my right shoulder. My wife is beyond pissed off about it. When I showed her the final work and told her about using my dog's ashes, she lost it and has been telling me I am the biggest asshole in the world. 4 years ago we lost our son to SIDS when he was just 6 weeks old. It was devastating for my wife and we nearly lost our marriage over it. With the help of therapy and couples counseling we pulled through and are actually expecting our second in 4 months. My bear tattoo seems to have reopened old wounds though. My wife keeps going back and forth between wanting to divorce me, make me get the bear tattoo removed, or demanding I also get a tattoo for our late son. I don't want to do any of these things and have refused to remove my tattoo or get an additional one. I am really tired of being called an asshole. So am I the one in the wrong here? Verdict, maybe? Top comments. Nah. It's up to you to get whatever tattoo you want. That being said, I understand why your wife is pissed off about it. You even said for yourself that your child's passing was devastating for your wife. Not the both of you, your wife. That comment and your tattoo of the dog but not your son suggests you cared more about the dog. Actually, it doesn't. My mom died 2 years ago. It was sudden, unexpected, and way too soon. My 2 sisters each got a memorial tattoo for her, but that would only make me sadder, not help me heal, so I didn't. My grandfather is 99. When he goes, it will be a well-deserved rest at the end of a full life, but I will still miss him. I plan to get a tattoo of his World War II regiment's insignia as a memorial for him when it happens. Is that because I love him more than my mom? No. It just means that the same act that will bring me comfort over a bittersweet death would make me sadder about a devastating, heartbreaking death. Concur in the conclusion, dissent on the reasoning. Not getting a memorial tattoo for one death doesn't mean you miss the deceased more than someone you didn't get a tattoo for, but we can't expect a bereaved mother to understand that. I'm sorry I don't have any advice for when someone makes a completely unfair, unreasonable demand you shouldn't comply with when their pain and state of mind makes their unreasonableness completely forgivable. People process grief differently, they attach differently. The wife was bonding to that baby while in her womb for 9 months before 6 weeks of the kid's actual life. Her reactions to the baby's death are valid. By that same measure, Op may not have even fully processed grief or let himself feel things, we don't know how he feels. I get it if the loss of his dog becomes even more amplified after the loss of a child. Sometimes animals fill a different kind of void for people. I don't think this means cared more about the dog, but a different love and a different loss. At the same time, the wife feeling like this is callous is fair enough because her feelings are hers, but we can't really expect people to express grief the way would. Nah. No, it doesn't. It says he's commemorating 15 years of memories with a loved pet, in a way that the tragically short life of his son didn't have. I'll be getting commemorative tattoo to mark my dog's passing, because she had so much presence in my life over the decade and a half she was in it that I find it meaningful. Not getting a tattoo doesn't mean not caring, it means he friends differently from his wife and his tattoos are representative in different ways to what his wife wants them to be, and she is being an off for trying to force him to grieve the same way as her, and have his tattoos mean what she wants. Agree with this. But I also wonder about other factors. If I had a son and he died, how quickly would I think of doing the tattoo thing? Would I ever think of that? I don't know if my mind would ever come to that conclusion as a way to honor him instead of being wrapped in the loss. But, if I did, what would I do for the tattoo? Honestly, most baby picture tattoos look creepy. Maybe a date or a flower? I, too, notice devastating for my wife. Info, Op, you mentioned you almost lost your marriage after your baby died. Between that and the above statement, I'm wondering, did your wife not feel you were grieved enough by the loss of your child at that time? Did she feel like you didn't support her enough, or expected her to be okay too soon? Seems like there has to be some element like that, or she wouldn't be so offended by the bear tattoo. What have you told her to explain why you don't want a memorial tattoo for your child? I can't read Op's mind, but maybe he didn't want a tattoo of his son because it's too much of a painful memory for him? Like he'll have it for the rest of his life, every time he looks at it he'll be reminded of his loss. And if it's somewhere visible then every time someone asks him about it he has to tell them about how he lost his infant son. Not everyone wants to broadcast to the whole world that they lost a child. Not to mention Op mentioned they have to go through therapy to get through his loss. So having a tattoo might just reopen old wounds that took years to heal. People grieve differently, so nah on both parties, but they might have to go back to counseling, especially with a new baby on the way. I don't think that getting a tattoo for one family member and not the other means you love one of them more. My tattoo was originally going to be a memorial tattoo for my dad, but one day I realized it didn't feel like the right way to grieve him. A few months before the appointment, I told my tattoo artist that I wanted a tattoo of my cats instead. One had recently died, and the other's health was declining. I am in absolute love with this tattoo. It felt like the right thing to do. I do other things to honor my dad instead. Watching his favorite movies, playing his PS2 collection, listening to songs we listened to together, reading the scraps of paper he left in his Bible, wearing his jacket. These things feel right. The way you grieve will be different for every loved one that you lose.